We've got a lot to run through in this episode. I think we'll start with the weekend's result. Arsenal 5, Leeds United nil. It much more like it from Mikel Arteta's men after the sort of smash and grab win at Old Trafford, if you like. I mean, there was the two goals from Viktor Gyökeres, Jurriën Timber, masterclass. Max Dowman, we'll talk about him a lot as well. It wasn't quite the perfect afternoon. Obviously, we will discuss the injuries shortly, but just in terms of the performance, how refreshing was it to see just a dominant, merciless Arsenal display after the first half an hour?
Yeah, it was just what you wanted, really, after the United game and all focus after United had been on the level of performance and the attacking issues and all that sort of stuff. So to score 5 goals, like you said, for Gyökeres to score his first goals for Arsenal, to see Max Dowman come on and make his debut and perform like that and sort of get everyone on their feet in that stadium for the last 25 minutes or so. It was just a perfect day, really. Like I said, injuries aside, it was a perfect day. It was exactly what Arsenal fans wanted. It was a real feel good mood in that place. Honestly, I've been to a lot of games at the Emirates over the last however many years it is, nearly 20 years, and the feel good vibe in that stadium on Saturday was right up there with some of the best sort of feelings and atmospheres that I can remember. Obviously, starting off with Eze and everything else. It was just a really fun afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, the Eze introduction, I mean, obviously we'll talk a lot about him as well, but his reaction to the Emirates crowd it was just heartwarming. And like you say, that really got the vibe going even before kickoff. Gyökeres scoring twice really helped with that as well. The first goal was a lovely solo effort coming in from the left, and then just a ferocious penalty, no stuttering, no stop start, just hammering it into the bottom corner. And he had been the subject of some social media jibes, more hair touches than ball touches at Old Trafford, which he lightly touched upon in his interview. But to respond like that in front of the Emirates crowd, what does that say about not just his quality, but also his mentality?
I just think it sums him up, really. I think a lot of the talk when he's come to Arsenal is that he's got the personality and the character to be able to deal with the pressure of being Arsenal's new number nine when, the whole world has been waiting to see who Arsenal sign as number nine. There's going to be an awful lot of pressure on whoever that guy was. And, people looked at Gyökeres and felt he had the personality and the character to be able to deal with that. And I think, what was said after Manchester United was ridiculous. People literally, it was a 160-minute performance and he was not helped by his teammates on that day. And so, yeah, he bounced back in the way I fully expected him to do. I have to admit, I went into that game expecting him to score. I thought Arsenal would play well. I thought they'd win the game pretty comfortably. It panned out like that. The first goal was, it was classic Viktor Gyökeres. When you look at what he did at Sporting and you look at where all his strengths were, and so many of the goals came from, it was running down into that left hand channel, getting himself on a quick ball. It was good to see Calafiori make that pass and just put it into a position where Gyökeres can attack it. And he did what Viktor Gyökeres does. And it was no surprise. The noise when that goal went in, you could sense the relief amongst the fans, I think. I think you could probably sense the relief on Gyökeres' face in the celebrations as well. And his teammates. They knew how big a moment that was. But the fans, everyone wanted him to score on Saturday. And when that ball hit the net, it was a real sort of release in that stadium of, right, he's up and running now. Because everyone knows how important he's going to be this season. So it's a good go. I mean, he obviously had the miss in the first half when he snatched at that chance that sort of fell to him, and you thought at that point, oh no, come on, it's really important you get yourself off the mark here. So yeah, there was a real sense of relief, but I'm not surprised. That's what he's done for the last 2 years, and I had no fears that he wasn't going to score those sort of goals for Arsenal.
Yeah, I think even Gary Neville said on co-coms as soon as the goal went in, he was like, big moment. You haven't got to be an Arsenal fan to realise how big a moment that was. And the second goal, the penalty, that came from, again, Max Dowman winning penalties. He just can't stop winning penalties, Max Dowman. Two in pre-season, another one on his Premier League debut. Now, the second youngest player to debut in the Premier League after teammate Ethan Waneri. He had a couple of shots that, didn't come off, but you can see that his teammates, they always wanted to give him the ball. They wanted him to have that historic moment. I think I'm right in saying that James Vaughan is still the youngest Premier League scorer in history. He's had that record for about 20 years now, but Dalman is so young. He's got basically the entire season to break that record. He's got to do it, surely.
Well, I'd imagine so, considering how many the positions he gets himself into and the opportunities he has just on Saturday. I mean, he was electric when he came on. As I said at the start, the whole stadium were on their feet whenever he got on the ball. He was. I've never seen a player like him. I have to say, this is unprecedented what we're seeing with Dowman at that age. And like you said, how keen the players are to get him the ball. There's no fear, there's no worries. Even if he's got two men around him, it's like they'll give him the ball, they'll trust him to be able to deal with it. And the way he just takes players on. If you're the fullback, I think I keep imagining what is running through their head when like you're 15. Stop it. I'm a professional Premier League player. You're 15 years old. How dare you almost do what you're doing to me? You're embarrassing me here. But they can't stop him. He's just got that ability that he's so fast when he runs with the ball. His first touch is fantastic. I mean, that long crossfield pass that Leandro Trossard played in the second half and the way Down brought it down was just so impressive. So impressive. And he's fearless. He really, really is. And I know there's lots of people who kind of don't want to say it. And when you're talking about who does he remind you of at that sort of age, and the Messi thing comes up. And I'm not saying he's going to be Lionel Messi or he's going to be anywhere near achieve anything close to what, in my opinion, the greatest of all time has ever achieved. But it's just that aura around him when he's on the ball. He doesn't look like a 15-year-old kid. He just looks like a seasoned professional who is better than everyone else on that pitch. And it's scary to say, this is the first home game of the season and we've already seen him play half an hour. What that says for the rest of the season in terms of how much we're going to see him play. I genuinely think he is just going to be a really, really important member of the squad this season. I just don't think age is going to come into it. He's just that good.